Right then, before I get into the video, I'm going to get the boring stuff out of the way first. My name is Joe. I am a qualified personal trainer and online coach. If you're interested in working with me, drop me a message on my Instagram or my TikTok, which will be linked below, and we'll get to work. Right then, today I'm going to take you through a push day that I did probably maths, Monday, Thursday, 3 days ago, and I am now 4 days into a deficit. I am down from 209.5 pounds to 205.2. Feel no different. Everything perfectly fine. Training performance is actually improving. Mainly because I took a week off when I was severely fatigued. So that is mainly the reason that I am recovering so well and doing so well in my training performance. The drop in body weight probably will catch up to me soon. I'd probably give it it tends to be about 5 to 6 weeks where I start stalling. You can obviously progress when you're in a cut, but I'm aiming to shave off about 8 to 10 kilograms in about 8 weeks. Don't get me wrong, my training performance will still be, compared to where I was, compared to where I will be, I'll be stronger because I know how to program properly and set up a deficit properly. But yeah, getting into the actual push day itself, I started off with the Smith machine press. Now it is on a slight incline, and this is actually my back off set. Somehow I didn't manage to record the first set, but I actually started off doing this the other way around, so the bench was the other way around, and I was just so much weaker, like so much weaker. So I turned it back around and obviously immediately managed to progress. My first set, I had 2 20s and a 10 either side, and I think I got 4 reps on that set. This set with 2 20s and a little biscuit outside, I think it's a 2.5 kilo, and I think it were 8 reps that I got on that set, if I can count. And then I got into the dumbbell shoulder press. Now this isn't a straight up shoulder press. I just don't like it. It feels wrong. I don't feel as much shoulder. And as you can see, I don't arch, like barely. Even on like a Smith machine press or an incline dumbbell press, my arch isn't really that significant. I've sort of have to train that out of me, because when you do any sort of incline press and you arch too much, you change the angle. So it can go from, if you set it up to be a 45-degree incline dumbbell press and you arch like ridiculously, you're changing the angle, so it goes from like a 45-degree to like a 25 to 30-degree. You are a lot stronger, obviously, from doing that. And I'd always have a slight arch because it's safer. Like, you don't want to do it completely flat back and let your shoulders just go forward like that. Obviously, you don't want to do that because then your shoulders are just going to take all the movement. But on a shoulder press, I want my shoulders to take all of the movement. So I still keep a slight arch just because it just comes naturally. It feels a lot better. But as you can see on my incline, not my incline dumbbell press, my dumbbell shoulder press, I'm really, really weak. Like, I'm so weak, so depressing, which is why I'm doing them. I'm just continuing to do them so they don't remain such a weak point. Because the fact that I'm only getting like 8, 9 reps with 30 kilograms on a dumbbell shoulder press is like just embarrassing. And the way that I set my form up, I do make it so that I can't really lift as much because I do it slowly. I do try to make sure that the entire focus is on my shoulders. And just something about the movement pattern, obviously, I'm just shit at. I do have really long arms, but like, that's no excuse. Like, that's no excuse at all. Like, it's still shit. Do you know what I mean? But then I got into the Nautilus vertical chest press. I am going to sneeze in a minute. I've literally have to take 2 different hay fever tablets and it just does nothing. I feel like I'm fucking fighting against the air all the fucking time. And for some reason you can see writing. I don't know what that fucking writing is. But anyway, the first set got, I think, what, 4 to 5 reps. I've had to change the weight that I do on this movement because I started my sessions with this the last training block that I did. Now I'm doing it third, and obviously my strength from doing it third is going to completely change, like completely change. So I have had to pull like 20 kilograms off this machine, and I'm not doing it with elbow sleeves or wrist wraps. So that again will change my strength, which is why I've had to pull off 20 kilograms. But I'm trying to sort of weed my way out from using wrist wraps and elbow sleeves so much, mainly while I'm cutting, because I don't want my joints to get absolutely battered. And obviously, we're using wrist wraps and elbow sleeves, I can lift more weight. But lifting more weight when I'm gonna get to the tail end of a deficit is gonna affect my joints like fairly badly. If I'm an idiot, I can just use sleeves and wrist wraps all the time. But I'm just trying to like err on the side of caution. Do you know what I mean? Like when I get later on, I might put sleeves and wrist wraps on, but that's just to like maintain the strength that I had before. I won't be putting any like brand new weight on, like loads and loads of weight, piling the weight on. But I'm trying to tail it off a little bit. Obviously, I'm still going to use them. They're not like, it's not anything major. It's just like those little like 1% that I'm trying to like mitigate the risk of ruining my recovery. It's not anything major. You can just wear them all the time. It's not anything. I'm just a bit pedantic with details like that. And it's also like an ego thing. It's definitely an ego thing. Sorry, I don't forget everything I just said. It's completely an ego thing because I want to feel like the weight's mine. If I've got wrist wraps and sleeves on, a part of me is just like, yeah, you didn't do that. And obviously I did, but it's just completely a mental thing. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why I just did that entire explanation, and absolutely it's an ego thing. Like 100%, it's just my ego talking to me. And then my second set, my elbows are really flared. I'm not gonna lie, but that's because on this machine, if my elbows are too tucked, something about the way that this machine moves, if I let my elbows tuck a little bit, it's all tricep, all tricep. So I keep my elbows as flared as I can comfortably feel. Like I do it on my warm-up sets as well. I get my elbow flare like set up perfectly. And this for me just feels the best. As you can see, failed on that, stupid. It got to the best part of the song, so I just thought, I can't not do this rep. And then I tried to do it and I just didn't do it. Which is unfortunate. Because obviously I didn't count the last rep. But it's really annoying failing a rep. I did the same on the first set as well. I failed the last rep. And when you're cutting, you don't want to be going to failure at all. Like I know where failure is. And I'm still just trying to keep on pushing to it like a spastic. So then I got into the straight bar extension for my triceps. Now, as you can see from my first set, the form really wasn't that good, like at all. Like it was pretty piss poor. The second set, I cleaned the form up a little bit. I tried to make sure that I kept the focus entirely on my triceps because I was sort of shrugging up a little bit too much. Obviously, because the weight's pulling me up, naturally, I just want to go with it so that it is sort of cheating. And you do get a bit of a stretch reflex from just letting your scapula roll down, going from a shrug up to a shrug down. Entirely just an ego thing, I'm not going to lie. Like, I just ruined the first set, but in my mind I couldn't back out of it because I put a certain weight on. Obviously in the second set I pulled the weight off. I made sure that my form were a lot better. Then I got into the incline dumbbell fly, which I'm unsure how I feel about this. I've swapped it out for the cuffed incline fly, which is, to be fair, it's probably a lot better for the upper chest, but I've been doing that movement for like a year or two on trot. So I thought, I'm just going to change it for this training block, just to do something new. And don't get me wrong, the incline dumbbell fly does work my chest well, I try to keep my elbow as tucked as I can without it turning too much into a tricep movement. But with the way that the movement's set up, if I was to do this with my elbows really tucked, it would just turn into a tricep movement. So it isn't the best. It is sort of a repeat of the first two chest exercises that I did, just my elbows a little bit more tucked than on the Smith machine press. Obviously a lot more tucked than the Nautilus chest press, but as you can see here, my elbows are probably what, maybe 45 degrees, 60 degrees, something like that to my side. So it's not the worst form in the world for my upper chest specifically, because that is what this movement is for. And contrary, obviously, to popular belief, having your elbows really flared out is not good for your upper chest whatsoever. Your elbows want to be nice and tucked. But just with the way that this movement is, that'd be way too much tricep for me. Which is why I did the cuffed incline fly, because it just takes your triceps completely out of it. Then I got into the Dumbbell Skullcrushers, which I've not done for a very, very long time. The way that I do my Skullcrushers, my shoulders are really, like, I've got a lot of mobility in my shoulders, mainly because of this stupid band work that I did for years and years. But it paid off, because I can do Skullcrushers. I could have these dumbbells like touch the floor if I wanted them to, and I'd feel nothing in my shoulders whatsoever. So I try to take advantage of that. I used to let my elbows rock back and forth. That would let me lift more weight, generate a bit more momentum. At the time, I thought it'd work a little bit more of the long end of my tricep. And now I just keep my elbow fixed, standardise my form nice and tightly, and it's absolutely fried my triceps. And I'm not lifting a ridiculous amount of weight to the point like my shoulders do want to get involved, or my chest wants to get involved, or it starts to feel a little bit unstable. So yeah, a really, really good movement in my personal opinion. Then I got into the cuffed lateral raise. Now, this movement, I do the concentric really quick, like I really power up. But the main cue that I have for this is just thinking about scraping. I try not to raise it up like that, like I would with a dumbbell when I'm cheating. Doing that, I try to think about scraping up. That does help feel it on your side delt a lot more, in my personal opinion. And I have a little rest in between sets, but like it's a fucking cuffed lateral raise. Like, you don't need a ridiculous. It's like calves. Like, you just give it 30 seconds to a minute and you can just go again. Like, you don't need too much rest. So I just rest a little bit in between sets each arm and just crack on. And the reps were, I think I started off with my first set, I think I got 10 reps. Second set probably got, no, first set I probably got about 13 reps. Second set about 12 reps. Just specifically to this movement, if I were to do anything like 6 to 8 reps on a cuffed lateral raise, it'd just feel off, like it won't feel right. So I do a lot higher rep range on this specific movement. But yeah, that's literally everything I only did 2 sets for. These cuff lateral raises, I didn't film the last set. No, I didn't film the first set. That was the last set. Mainly because I'd have been in the way. I still was sort of in the way, but I'd have been like blatantly in the way of too many people if I were to film the first set. So I didn't. I try to, if I'm going to film, I try to keep in mind the gym that I'm at and the people around me. But yeah, that was literally it. 2 sets of everything. I am obviously in a deficit, so my volume's not going to be creeping up. It's all about maintaining my strength at a minimum. I'm still going to aim to progress. I still will progress, especially for the first 5 weeks, and especially off the back of a week off, considering where my recovery was at towards the end of my bulk. I trained a lot longer than I should have, but I'm really like autistic with the way that I do my programs. I have to finish it. like everything has to go according to the plan that I've got. I should have just like took the week off earlier, but I had it set in my mind. So I tried it, and the last week of training was just a bit dog shit. But yeah, that's literally it for the video. I'll probably see you for a pull day, which won't be much changed from the pull day that I showed you last week, I think it was. There is some variation in it, to be perfectly honest. I don't know why I'm saying that. It's just both of them were my pull A sessions. I've got a pull A and a pull B. This is the new pull A of my brand new training block. And some of the movements are the same, but there is some differences. So I will take you through that one, the exact same. I will be doing my sessions mic'd up just in the gym, obviously, if I can, rather than just talking through it, because it's just going to be boring. Like, I'm just going to talk you through the session that I've already talked you through. Like, what's the fucking point? Like, you already know what's happening. So yeah, I'll see you for a pull day, probably within the next 2 days.